Hello class, a very pleasant morning to all of you. Today, I, Richa Parekh from St. Thomas High School, Mahua, am here to further continue with the subject of social science for the students of class 8th. My dear students, during the previous lecture, we saw about the great extremist that is Lokmanya Tilak. Today, we are going to see about Laalalachpatrai. Laalalachpatrai became popular as Punjab Kesari or Shere Punjab. He was badly bitten in the lathi charge while protesting against the Simon Commission, and it became the reason for his death. He quoted, "The government which attacks its own innocent subjects has no claim to be called as a civilized government. Bear in mind, such a government cannot survive for long. I declared that the blows struck at me will be the last nail in the coffin of the British rule in India." So, Lala Lajpat Rai, who was known as Punjab Kesari or Shere Punjab, was bitten by the Britishers in the Lathi charge, and that was the reason that he was dead. He quoted, that means he said to the government that the government which attacks its own subjects, that means their own people, has no right to be called as a civilized government. And he told that Britishers must keep in mind that the government of Britishers will not survive for long, and he declared that the blows struck at me, that means the with the lathi charge, the way they were beating to him was the last nail in the coffin of the British rule in India. That means the British government is soon going to come to end. The very next one is Bipin Chandra Pal. Bipin Chandra Pal was among the trio of Lal, Bal and Pal. Initially, he came in contact with Brahmo Samaj. He started a weekly New India and a newspaper Vande Mataram. The British government accused him for provoking the youngsters in the violent activity. He was in the favor of acquiring Swaraj through revolution. So next comes in the trio of Lal and Bal is Bipin Chandra Pal. He came in the contact with Brahmo Samaj and also started a weekly magazine, that is New India, and the newspaper of Vande Mataram. The British government accused him, that means blamed him, for provoking the youngsters in the violent activities, and he was in the favor of acquiring Swaraj through the revolutionary activities. Establishment of Muslim League. The Britishers had adopted the policy of divide and rule. Nationalism was growing at a quick pace in India, and the Britishers found it necessary to break the national unity. This could successfully convince a group of Muslim leaders into forming the Muslim League. It was formed in Dhaka in 1906 century era. The religious head of Muslims, Aga Khan, Nawab of Dhaka, Salimullah Khan, Viceroy Minto, and his private secretary Dunlop Smith played a vital role in the establishment of Muslim League. As the Britishers knew that nationalism was growing at a great scale in India, it was necessary for the Britishers to break the national unity. Therefore, with the policy of divide and rule, they successfully convinced the leaders of Muslim leaders to form a Muslim League, and it was formed in Dhaka in 1906 century era. The religious head and other British councillors played a vital role, that means a key role, in the establishment of Muslim League. The very next comes is Home Rule Movement. This is one of the important part of this chapter. Home Rule Movement in 1916. Between 1916 and 18, when the World War I was closing, prominent Indian leaders like Joseph Baptista, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, G.S. Khapade, Sir S. Subramanya Iyer, and the leaders of Theosophical Society, Annie Besant, decided to organize a national alliance of league across India, specifically to demand home rule or self-government within the British Empire for all in India. During this time, Tilak was conferred with the title Lokmanya. Annie Besant wrote various articles in the weekly The Commonwealth and in the daily New India. Annie Besant appealed the British government to share the administrative power and grant home rule to India at the earliest. So, what is home rule movement? When the world was at the end of World War I, various Indian leaders decided to organize a national alliance and leagues across the entire India. They demanded from the British Empire that they should be given home rule or self government. That means it should be made free from the rules of Britishers. At that time, Tilak was also conferred as with the title of Lokmanya, and Annie Besant in her weekly and daily magazines and newspapers appealed the British government that they should grant the home rule to India at the earliest. Indian National Congress and Muslim League supported the home rule movement. Annie Besant was kept in the house arrest in Ooty by the British government. Demonstrations and protests were launched at various places in India, and finally British government had to set her free. So Annie Besant, who granted self-rule to who wanted that the British government should grant the self-rule to India at the earliest, and she also supported the Indian National Congress and the Muslim League through the Home Rule movement. She was kept in a house arrest, and when the demonstrations and the protests were launched at various places, British government has had to place her free. My dear students, here we are at the end of today's video. In the very next class, we will be discussing about the Lucknow Pact. So till then, read the chapter from your textbook. Thank you and have a nice day.